Minority calls out government for appointing a Kenyan as Deputy Managing Director at Consolidated Bank Ghana.
Police interdicts officer captured in a viral video dragging a suspect on the ground during an arrest.
Additional college student also captured in a viral video assaulting his colleague granted bail.
A call for increased screening and vaccination exercise against viral hepatitis B.
General Abdurrahmani Chiani declares himself the new leader of Niger after a dramatic coup.
And Singapore executes a woman for the first time in almost 20 years.
Good evening and welcome to News Hour right here on GBC News and on GTV. My name is Jonathan Thompson.
I am Rahmatu Mahmoud Jawandu. Don't forget to also join us via Facebook at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Good evening.
In our first story, the deputy ranking member on the Finance Committee of Parliament, Mr. Isaac Adongo, is demanding the removal from office and replacement of the current Deputy Chief Executive of Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG, with a Ghanaian.
According to Mr. Adongo, the man in question is a Kenyan and so being paid an expatriate salary, which is unnecessary cost. He was speaking to the media in Parliament on Friday.
We set up CBG. Today, CBG is our national disgrace. CBG is a symbol of our national embarrassment. The one that they set up and gave 9 or other banks to them, at the moment, is no more a bank. CBG is no more a bank, but a shell. He should go and solve that mess he has created at CBG. And they should immediately remove that expatriate from Kenya they have appointed as a deputy CEO of CBG. What is he there doing? There are very qualified and senior Ghanaians who are sitting home after you collapse the banks. Why do you have to go to Kenya to bring a deputy CEO? Is it a forensic officer they have brought to clean up the stealing at CBG? We will find out. But they must let that Kenyan go back and stop paying expatriate salaries and emoluments to foreigners when we can have Ghanaians to do the job of a deputy CEO, not even a CEO.
Our next story, the Ghana Police Service has interdicted its officer captured in a viral video dragging a suspect on the ground during an arrest at Dadiase near Kumeu in the Ashanti region. In a statement issued on Friday, July 28, 2023, the police said it has begun investigations into the incident and the officer and would be taken through the due process of the law. It added that the Inspector General of Police, IGP, Dr. George Akufu-Dampare, on Thursday sent a team from the Ashanti North Regional Police Command to engage the victim's family. He has also spoken to the victim's mother via the telephone and assured her of a thorough investigation into the matter. In the said video, 2 men in police uniform could be seen attempting to arrest a man. One of the officers could be seen engaging in a scuffle with the suspect, as a lot of people had gathered around watching what was happening. The officer fixed a belt on the neck of the suspect and started dragging him around by the neck with a belt. Some of the community members tried to stop the policeman from dragging the suspect, but to no avail.
The Cape Coast District Court 2 has granted bail to a Disadel College student who was captured in a viral video assaulting his colleague. The court, presided over by Justice Eric Entry Bosiako granted bail to the culprit to reappear before the court on August 2, 2023, as the court could not have the required number of persons to sit as jury over the juvenile case. The student was arrested by the police in Cape Coast earlier this week, charged with causing harm and assault, and then released to the school's headmaster to be produced in court. The arrest came after the video showed the disturbing incident where one student violently attacked another in a dormitory. The authorities are taking swift action to address the incident and hold the perpetrator accountable for his actions. Meanwhile, the victim has been recalled to the school after he was initially suspended. The school is taking measures to ensure his well-being and recovery.
And we're still at the courts. The Accra High Court will decide a contempt case against the Minister for Trade and Industry, Mr. K.T. Hammond, on October 19, 2023. Mr. James Gyakye-Quayson, the Member of Parliament for Assin North in the Central Region, filed a writ at the High Court citing Mr. Hammond for contempt over comments in an interview he granted to a private television station over Mr. Gyakye-Quayson's ongoing legal trial. The court has ordered the parties to file their written submissions by close of Monday, August 31, 2023.
The Minister for Trade and Industry, K.T. Hammond, is alleged to have said during an interview that Mr. James Gyakye-Quayson will go to prison. Lawyers of the Assin North MP are of the opinion that the comments by the Minister for Trade are highly prejudicial and violate Mr. Gyakye-Quayson's right to a fair trial. In a contempt suit filed on July 7 by lawyers of James Gyakye-Quayson, accuses Mr. Hammond as brazenly usurping the functions of the trial judge and wants the court to try him for contempt and sentence to prison if found guilty.
Everybody chooses his victim. So we've decided that we are bringing K.T. Hammond. Maybe another day it will be somebody else. So today we have chosen our victim to be K.T. Hammond.
It is the case of his lawyers that comments by K.T. Hammond have made it difficult for their client to receive a fair trial and want the court to sanction the lawmaker over same.
K.T. Hammond will always be a target. You do know that. You have to do that.
The court asked the parties to file their written arguments by August 31st, 2023, failing which the court will go ahead with its ruling on the matter after the legal break.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority says its security patrol boat had no encounter with a fishing boat on Thursday, July 27, 2023, which reportedly resulted in the unfortunate death of 2 fishermen. According to GPHA, the security patrol team, which comprises the Ghana Navy, Marine Police and GPHA security, timeously responded, cautioned and asked the said fishing boats to leave.
A statement signed by the Marketing and Public Affairs Manager of GPHA, Ms. Sabna Sewa Pokufosu, explained that the port control station received a distress call on Wednesday, July 26, 2023 from MV Seaspan Dubai for assistance to ward off several fishing boats that had surrounded their vessel. According to the statement, the patrol team on their way back chanced upon another set of fishermen who had cast their nets and were fishing within the Terminal 3 basin close to a container vessel. The nets were seized and the men were cautioned and led out of the basin. The GPHA indicated that there was no direct contact or collision between the GPHA boat and the fishing boat in question. The statement added that the unfortunate death of the 2 fishermen was not caused by any actions involving the GPHA and urged the public to disregard purported media reports. 2 out of 12 fishermen who reportedly went fishing got drowned on their return from the expedition. Although it's the close fishing season, the fishermen went to sea as part of the customary rites preceding the annual Homowo in Tema. The 2 bodies were washed ashore on Thursday morning and has since been deposited at the morgue.
The Ahmadiyya Muslims Jama'at's annual Jalsa, which is UK's largest annual Muslim convention, opened today. The purpose of this event is to strengthen the link between man and his creator, God Almighty, and to bring the community together in a spirit of brotherhood, love, harmony, and compassion.
We bring you that story later. Interest groups in the research and innovation ecosystem have met in Accra to fine-tune standards, certification and conformity assessment to be competitive on the global market. The workshop, spearheaded by the Heritage Lab, would also help address the need for a symbolic relationship among product developers, service providers, innovators, researchers, regulators and other critical industry players to value quality and safety in their research.
Embracing standards, certification and conformity assessments in the research and innovation ecosystem helps bridge the gap on stigma innovators face in Ghana. This helps to enhance competitiveness of products originating from Ghana and establish a reputation for excellence and reliability in the global market. The Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alex Dodu, highlighted the importance of embracing standards, certification and conformity assessment in research and innovation.
How do we make these things impactful to the average Ghanaian? How do standards authorities like the Ghana Standards Authority, regulators like the FDA, NPA, NCA, how do we positively now start looking at the way we create jobs for the average person, the way we create wealth for the average industry, the way we engage to provide relief to people? We've all realized that if we are not deliberate, about supporting industry to create the wealth that will lead to the creation of jobs, then nothing will happen.
The Chief Executive of Heritage Labs, Mr. Deridin Dazi, urged service providers to conform to acceptable standards before developing new products.
It is important that systems and products and systems that are developed have some kind of interoperable dynamic so that we can enhance the efficiencies. So that's why we brought the key stakeholders together to drive the agenda of standardization, certification and conformity assessment.
The workshop included a comprehensive review of the baseline and paradigm assessment conducted by a senior lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Professor Mariam Nkansa.
Now we go back to our earlier story. The Ahmadiyya Muslims Jama'at's annual Jalsa, which is UK's largest annual Muslim convention, opened today. The purpose of this event is to strengthen the link between man with his creator, God Almighty, and to bring the community together in a spirit of brotherhood, love, harmony, and compassion.
This year's convention is the first open gathering after COVID-19, with preparation made for a projected attendance of around 50,000 visitors. The three-day spiritual event hosts guests from all over the world as well as members living in the UK. Due to the large scale of the event, it is being transmitted via satellite TV for viewers across the world. His Holiness Hazrat Ahmad, the head of the worldwide Ahmadiyya movement, inaugurated the event with a flag hoisting ceremony where the flag of Jamaat Ahmadiyya and the flag of the United Kingdom were both raised. His Holiness then proceeded to address the attendees, welcoming them all and imparting the wisdom, blessings and importance of the event, while millions of people followed his opening address across the world via satellite and other means.
I'm enjoying the Jalsa. It's a blessing for all of us. I had the opportunity to pray behind Huzur, which is, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I'm very glad to be here, and I'm grateful to Allah for giving me the opportunity.
It was a special start to what will no doubt be a very unique and special event in the days ahead.
The Abetifi College of Education in the Eastern Region has held its first congregation since it was upgraded to offer a bachelor's degree in basic education. At the ceremony, 22 students graduated with first-class honors.
The event was an opportunity to also inaugurate 3 projects funded by the college's internally generated fund: the medical center, 2-bedroom self-contained staff bungalow, and the library. The moderator of the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, Right Reverend Professor Joseph Obriye Boamante, commended management for making the college one of the best institutions in the country. He said the church will continue to assist and cooperate with the government to provide quality education in the country. The moderator was, however, concerned about recent developments in Parliament, where the minority boycotts proceedings to support their colleagues on trial at the court.
During every graduation, every event, there is something infrastructural to commission or to dedicate. And I must tell you that in entering this school now, in walking on this compound now, this place is very special.
The principal at the college, Dr. Mrs. Phyllis Ajimanyako, commended the moderator, the college council, management and staff for the support. She appealed to the Get Fund Secretariat to speed up work on the 5-story hall theatre complex, which is about 65% complete. The principal also asked the Finance Ministry to give financial clearance to enable the college to recruit additional staff to enhance academic work.
The college continues to make strides in improving our infrastructure through our internally generated funds. In addition to the numerous IGF-funded projects undertaken in the past few years.
The Dean of the Science and Technology Department at the University of Cape Coast, Professor Douglas Ejay, spoke about reforms in the country's educational sector. A former board chairman of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Professor Emmanuel Ado Obeng, who is also the college's council chairman, advised the teachers to allow the church's values to reflect in their output.
You're watching News Hour right here on GBC News and on GTV. We'll go for a short break. We'll be right back.
Hello, good evening. Friday, welcome to Business brought to you by MTN. MTN is everywhere you go. Now, the cost of food in Ghana increased to 54.2% in June 2023 compared to 51.8% in May. Commodities such as fish and cereals were among the highest food inflation contributors. A visit by GBC News to the Madina market, however, shows that prices of food items such as tomatoes are gradually on a decline.
Domestic food price inflation remains high around the world. According to the World Bank, between February 2023 and May 2023, inflation rose more than 5% in 61.1% of low-income countries, 79.1% of lower-middle-income countries, and 70% of upper-middle-income countries, with many experiencing double-digit inflation. In addition, 78.9% of high-income countries are experiencing high food price inflation. In real terms, food price inflation exceeded overall inflation in 79.8% of the 163 countries where data was available to the World Bank. In Ghana, inflation rose slightly for the second month running to 42.5% in June 2023 from 42.2% in May. The rise in inflation was largely driven by rising prices of food and beverages, which rose to 54.2% from 51.8% in May. On a visit to the Madina market, an onion trader, Fuseila Ahmed, said the prices of onions from countries such as Niger adds onto the price of the commodity when imported, which is also passed on to the customer.
According to
Azumi Ibrahim, who trades in cereals, most commodities in the country are becoming more expensive as fertilizer prices have shot up, while tools and machinery to aid agriculture are mostly unavailable.
And that bro, and that crowd, mom, maybe mom will be 22. Say no, they say Castle or Munda or Moba, yet to me Chicago near Chicago, into a book of fuck routine to Medrano, not Buono as I can.
A trader insulted tilapia, Madam Georgina Amwa, said fisher folks complain about the high cost of nets to go fishing as well as the high cost of premixed fuel. She says this has made the prices of fish quite expensive.
Omo de petrol Mr. Premise and the koyi namuno na sesi anu premise nsu ni hobium na omo kwaton so a omo nya yenso ye ba ye kofa ba yentumi nton nti ama bibia ye basa first no ye ton 10 cedi ebi o 5 cedis enso enne nyamisi yankasa 1.2.
The situation is not all that gloomy, as traders in tomatoes say the price of the commodity is gradually reducing. Ekwa Blessing and Abnata gave reasons for this.
They say the ampa no wati kakra eche first no boy yet me ton 40 million 45. They say there ye 15 ni 14.
Ni see ya ediba from near every time we dia baby kakra ni nyina piepie nti esa na ba fom bia omuji ye na no muji ye ti yati sukura sa no muji ye ya fa box ba ko from CMB hodi baha ba ko bia 50 Ghana.
Some traders and tubers at the market also hinted of a reduction in prices of the commodity, as tubers such as yam and cassava will soon experience a glut when they are in season.
Let's get updates from the interbank forex markets and the international commodities market. That was Business, brought to you by MTN. MTN is everywhere you go.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations?
Good evening and welcome to the Energy segment. My name is Dominic Noji. Russia's President Vladimir Putin says his country commits to working with Africa to expand its energy infrastructure. Speaking at the second Russia-Africa Business and Humanitarian Forum at St. Petersburg in Russia, Mr. Putin said Russian companies are implementing new mutually beneficial projects to meet growing demands for fuel and electricity in Africa. This collaboration, he said, will provide Africa access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and environmentally friendly energy sources.
Soviet and Russian specialists have over the years designed and built large electricity facilities in Angola, Egypt, Ethiopia and other African countries with a total capacity of 4.6 gigawatts, a quarter of Africa's hydropower capacity. Rosatom, the leading company in nuclear energy, is building a nuclear power plant in Daba, Egypt. The company is engaging the government of Ghana on technologies that can be adopted in building a nuclear power plant in the country. Rosatom is introducing a floating nuclear technology which Ghana may consider. Russian President Mr. Vladimir Putin, at a plenary session at the ongoing second Russia-Africa Business Summit at St. Petersburg, said Russia is currently involved in developing about 30 energy projects in 16 African countries.
«Газпром», «Роснефть», «Лукойл», «Зарубежнефть» – это наши компании, которые занимаются освоением нефтегазовых месторождений в Алжире, Египте, Камеруне, Нигерии, Республике Конго.
More than 30 promising energy projects with Russian participation in 16 African states are now in varying degrees of development. The total capacity of the power projects we are working on is about 3.7 gigawatts. Our company, Rus Hydro, offers a wide range of services to African partners, from the design and supply of equipment to the modernization and construction of new tanker generation facilities. Gazprom, Rosneft, Lukoil, Zarubezhneft are our companies that are engaged in the development of oil and gas fields in Algeria, Egypt, Cameroon, Nigeria, and the Republic of Congo.
At the sidelines of the summit, Rosatom signed an agreement between the government of the Russian Federation and the government of Zimbabwe on cooperation in the field of exploiting atomic energy for peaceful purposes. The Minister of Energy and Power Development of Zimbabwe, Jemu Zoda, signed on behalf of Zimbabwe, and Lekej Aleski, Director General of the State Atomic Energy Corporation, initialed for Rosatom.
The Director General of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, Professor Samuel Boakye Dampare, says Ghana's delegation to the second Russia-Africa Business and Humanitarian Forum at St. Petersburg in Russia is excited about the expression of interest by Russia and other vendor countries in Ghana's nuclear power program. Speaking to GBC's Energy News Desk in St. Petersburg, Professor Dampare said the interactions with Rosatom and other energy companies have been good.
To add nuclear energy to its energy mix, and there are so many technologies and so many countries have expressed interest in our nuclear program. And we're invited here by Rosatom, which is also interested in this nuclear energy business. And so far it has been good. We have had great discussion with them. They've told us what they can offer us, including new technologies and all that. As we said, Ghana hasn't taken a decision as to which technology we are going with, but we will continue exploring with other options as well. We've not made any commitment yet, but it's a good opportunity. We've had great experience. We have good interaction with them, and I think the forum is so far has been very good. It's not only nuclear energy they've been talking about. There are other aspects of the whole thing that they've also mentioned in areas of agriculture, medicine, and all that. But I'll say that in terms of energy, it's been good.
Total national power generation was 62.8157 gigawatt hours within the last 24 hours. Here are some key national statistics on electricity generation within the last 24 hours. That's it for the energy segment. My name is Dominic.
Welcome to the health segment brought to you by Tobinco, producers of Lufat. Patient groups are appealing for government intervention in the management of hepatitis in the country. They lament the cost of hepatitis services and treatment is a major hindrance preventing many patients from accessing care. They also say various interventions introduced by government has not yielded the desired results.
When one is diagnosed of hepatitis early and depending on which type it is, one is either treated for a cure or managed for life. However, the management of hepatitis in the country comes at a huge cost.
When you come to viral load, for example, hepatitis C viral load, in some of the labs, it's about 1,004. Others, it's about 800 Ghana, 900 Ghana. And there are people, you call them. The moment you tell them and you give them idea of price, they say, and it's a sad thing. It's a sad experience we have had to go through as far as these costs are concerned. When you do hepatitis B, you are positive, you must do the profile. The profile, including viral load for hepatitis B, will cost anything around 450, 500, 600 going, depending upon where you go to.
Patient groups have therefore called for government intervention to have testing fees brought down to affordable level. Among other interventions by government to reduce the burden of the disease include Stop Hepatitis C project to make free medicines for treatment. Since it was introduced, only 200 patients from across the country have been placed on treatment, but many consider it to be a flash in the pan compared to the number of patients.
Now, diagnostics in Ghana is very, very expensive because of the viral load, which is preventing people to access the treatment. Now, we have a lot of hepatitis C drugs available for free treatment, but the patients are not coming forward. Why? Because of the diagnostics. Hepatitis space, there's a lot of interest in hepatitis from private sector. So they don't want government to take ownership of the program. Our job is to create awareness, advocacy, but now we have turned it to business and the patients are suffering.
Ghana is one of 38 WHO-focused countries for viral hepatitis response. The African Union CDC has also begun technical support for hepatitis in Ghana. Meanwhile, the Global Fund is expected to support the triple elimination of HIV, hepatitis B and syphilis in the country. Funds are also being mobilized from Expert France towards financing of long-term hepatitis management. Sarah for GBC News, Accra.
The 2023 World Viral Hepatitis Day was commemorated by screening of populations at risk for hepatitis B and C and vaccinating them. The exercise was conducted in parts of the capital, Cape Coast and Ho. In Accra, over 400 people were screened, of which 10% tested positive for hepatitis A, B and C.
In Accra, the exercise took place at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital and the Medina Atomic Junction. At the Atomic Junction, individuals were screened for hepatitis B and C and taken through some preventive measures. Over 100 people screened, out of which 10% tested positive.
When your level of hepatitis in the infection realm exceeds 10%, then you are said to be endemic. With this notion, then every one of us should test to know the status. I would advise all my fellow Ghanaians that hepatitis kills more than HIV. So therefore, it is imperative when we are afraid of getting HIV, then we play with hepatitis like nobody's business.
At the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, all 300 patients who tested negative were given free vaccines, after which some spoke with GBC News.
Since we know the mode of transmission for hepatitis B is mostly through body fluids, advise the general public that they should take precautionary measures to take in the screening, and then when they test negative, they come in to take the shot. If not, and it's positive, they see the medical personnel for further management.
I heard the news that we are
doing this hepatitis screening. So I have to take that opportunity to be vaccinated.
The theme for this year's celebration, One Life, One Liver, seeks to promote a firm commitment to prevent the risk factors of viral hepatitis and protect one's liver from damaging.
That's all in this segment, brought to you by kind courtesy to Binko, producers of Lufat.
On the foreign front, General Abdurrahmani Chiani has declared himself the new leader of Niger after a dramatic coup, also known as Omar Chiani. He staged a takeover which started on Wednesday when the Presidential Guards unit he led seized the country's leader. This shattered Niger's first peaceful and democratic transition since independence in 1960. President Mohamed Bazoum is thought to be in good health and still held captive by his own guards. The coup has been roundly condemned by international bodies including the African Union, West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS, the EU and the UN. General Chiani, 62, has been in charge of the Presidential Guard since 2011 and was promoted to the rank of general in 2018 by former President Mahamadou Issoufou. Speaking in a televised address, General Chiani said his junta took over because of several problems in Niger, including insecurity, economic woes, and corruption, amongst other matters. It's now time for sports. Layoka Beach Soccer Club kept their chase on Zone 1 leaders Cheetah BSC in the ongoing Ghana Beach Soccer League. They recorded 4 goals to 2 in win over Teshi United in their match day 6 encounter. They are on the same points with Cheetah, but Cheetah has more goals.
The clash between Layoka and Teshi United was a local derby. Layoka came into the game on the back of 4 wins and 1 defeat, whilst Teshi were looking to end their wait for a win after recording 1 win, 2 drawn games and 1 defeat. The closely contested match produced 6 goals. Second place, Layoka were sharp up front. They forced the defense of Teshi to commit fouls to their advantage. They converted 4 of their kicks. Teshi, on the other hand, scored 2 on the day to end the encounter by 4 goals to 2. The win still keeps Layoka second on the league log, same points as Cheetah, who have superior goal difference. For Teshi, it has pushed them to the 7th place with 5 points. Here are the pairings for match day 7. Nungwa will take on Okre Rangers. Cheetah will face Layoka. Sea Sharks will battle Senior Sharks. Teshi United will welcome Dantuman B Soccer Club. Zone 2, Ocean Stars Tegbe will face Keji Miracle. Keji Haveji Mighty Warriors will battle Sunset Sports Keta. Adan Assurance will then lock horns with Voje Iron Breakers. This weekend's fixtures will take place at the Laboma Beach Resort and the Kita Beach Soccer Arena.
Still in sports, the senior national men's tennis team, the Golden Rackets, are on the verge of sealing qualification to the Davis Cup Africa Group 3. The team earlier today beat Botswana to top Pool A group made up of Kenya, Cameroon and Botswana. A win over host nation Rwanda tomorrow qualifies Ghana into Zone 3.
In rackets, the senior national men's tennis team opened their Davis Cup Group 4 tournament with a tricky clash against Kenya. They beat them 2-1 on Wednesday before defeating Cameroon by the same score on Thursday. Earlier today, they played Botswana and beat them 2-0. Per the format of the competition, the top 2 in each group will face off with the top 2 from the other group in the semis. Ghana is looking to qualify to the Davis Cup Africa Group 3 and gradually making their way back to the Euro Africa zone. Team Ghana is made up of 3 US-based players, Abraham Asaba, Isaac Norte and Herman Aban, with local number 1 seed Samuel Agbesi and 2021 ITF Junior Champion Desmond Ayaba. Captain of the side is coach Frederick Ejiri. Ghana plays the host nation tomorrow, and a win for the Golden Rackets will mean they have sealed qualification to the Euro Africa Group 3.
And that's it for sports. Entertainment is up next.
Hello, let's do some art and entertainment news. My name is Heika Owusu. Players in the creative art industry have shared a table to look at collaborations with their communities in the diaspora to transform the film and music industries in Africa. At the return conversations in Accra, they agreed that an action plan must be adopted to support the creative agenda. These and some other stories making waves in the creative arts sector. The return conversations on the theme, the role of film and music in uniting the global African family, featured industry players from Jamaica, Brazil, Nigeria, South Africa, Namibia, United States of America, and the United Kingdom. The main objective of the conversations is to bridge the gap in creativity between Ghana and the diaspora communities. The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Mr. Akwesi Agyemang, said the creative conversation serves as a platform on which to tell stories from the African perspective. The Deputy Minister for Tourism, Art and Culture, Mr. Mark Okrekumante, said the ministry will strengthen its partnership with the diaspora communities to develop Ghana's creative art industry.
Give you my word that we are talking to Parliament to give the industry the waivers you are asking for. It is a process. We'll definitely get there soon. Let's try and share ideas so that we can all have a win-win partnership. It is time to grow Africa together.
Some movie makers and artists spoke to GBC News.
Collaboration can be as small or as big. So let's think more and more about that collaboration on that sense, so that Ghanaian talent and Ghanaian filmmakers can get to work on more and more international films. It is happening.
I already know that I'm going to start doing amazing things by collaborating from right here today to make something great for Ghana film industry.
Play Ghanaian music first of all, because if we don't have an industry that is strong and resilient, no matter how much conversations we'll have, we'll never move forward.
Education in music is key, is 100%. We need to bring it back in our school systems.
They called on all to support the creative art industry.
Police say the death of Sinead O'Connor is not being treated as suspicious following the discovery of her body on Wednesday. The Irish singer and activist, best known for the song Nothing Compares to You, was found dead at her home in South London. London Inner South Corners Court said no medical cause of death was given and an autopsy will be conducted. Meanwhile, hundreds of fans trooped to the London Irish Centre in North London to mourn the singer.
That's all for the art and entertainment segment of the news.
And that's all we have for you in today's edition of News Hour. My name is Jonathan Thompson.
I am Rahmatu Mahmoud Dondo. Thanks for your time. Do make time with us at 10 p.m. for News Tonight.
Good evening.